Ahoy VC, welcome to the Personal Oasis. This is the Blind Island. I'm your host Isaac, and today we're going to go through part 2 of September's vinyl finds. Now, the second part of September, in my opinion, was far more lucrative than the first part. Got a lot more things that I've been really searching for a long time, and very happy to have found copies of them. And as far as what we're listening to right now on the Personal Oasis, we're listening to John Coltrane's Meditations. This is famous for being the last recording that John Coltrane did with, I think, his famous quartet, being also paired up with Pharoah Sanders and Rashid Ali. And after this, the guys kind of disbanded. Rashid Ali and Pharoah Sanders kept on playing with John, and it is a fiery session. Lots of avant-garde skronking and whirling, and it's intense. And it's not going to be for everybody's flavor, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's a very spiritual album. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to get into free jazz, you know, this may not be the best entry point, but it's a fun record, so very cool. First up, we have Rhys Mchenry with Spiderbag's Bad Girl. Now, this was an album inspired by the Vinyl Guru's recent video on blind buys, and it's something that I try to do on occasion, but watching that video really made me want to go out and just find the few albums. I had no idea what they sounded like, but I just wanted to get it. Rhys Mchenry, I had no idea who she was. I did know Spiderbags. They're a garage band and kind of have this weird sound, but when I looked at this, it looked like a more Americana folk album, so I decided to purchase it. It was only $3.99. Man, what an incredible record. Just really raw, like Americana vocals, and with a country twang edge, but then with Spiderbags being the backing bands, it has this chugging rockabilly punk feel that is really neat. You don't really get that a lot in modern country, so really cool album. Apparently this was a limited edition of only 500 LPs, and it did come with a digital download, so I love this record. It's definitely one that I've been listening to a lot lately, and one that it's a shame that it sits on shelves languishing because it should be rediscovered by a lot of people. So really great album and very highly recommended for fans of Lucinda Williams, Patty Griffin, and I'm blanking on the last name here, but or even Emmylou Harris during the softer bits. But great record, highly recommended. Then, second, we have Bob Dylan's Hard Rain. Picked this one up for $4 at the store, and it's one that I've always kind of slept on. I've really passed it by a lot of times. Sometimes I'll see it in dollar bins. It's usually beat to hell, so I won't pick it up, but I picked up this copy just because it was in pretty good condition. And you know what? This was recorded in the latter part of the Rolling Thunder Revue when they moved from really intimate settings to large stadiums. And while it has nothing on the early recordings, this is still a very solid live album. One that I definitely wish I had not slept on for so long. Everyone sounds incredibly angry and a little burnt out, but it does add to the music on occasion. So it's not one of his best albums or even his best live albums, but still one that's worth exploring, especially on a budget. So really fine record to find. Next one I was super jazzed about, and this is the Ripcords 3-Window Coupe. And the Ripcords were a group that was really in the shadow of the Beach Boys in the early 60s and Jan and Dean, really in that hot rod beach vocal surf. And This album, a lot of people will go with Hot Little Cobra as their best record, but to me, this is a superior album. I love the tunes that are on here. Three Window Coupe is a great song. This Little Woody is so infectious and joyful. And also Beach Girl. If you're a fan of the song Surfer Girl by the Beach Boys, then this is a proto-sibling, or like a sibling of sorts to that song. Gorgeous, gorgeous melodies, harmonies, fantastic record, and really one that you can pick up for pretty cheap most places. This is an original mono copy, and very, very happy to have this one in the collection. Next, I found a copy of Chambers Brothers' The Time Has Come. You can find this one in most bargain bins. It was a huge seller, and most people come here for the big single, The Time Has Come Today, and it really is just a seminal piece of 60s soul psychedelia, just a fantastic record. And I mean, the whole album is really solid. There are a couple of spots where it's a little weak, but ultimately, this is a great bargain bin buy that I would recommend for anyone to pick up, because you're going to find a lot to dig your teeth into. Next was another blind buy, and this is by a group by the name of Beachnicks in Color. Now, if you're a fan of groups like Veronica Falls and others that are a little bit more on that indie twee pop, then you're going to find a lot to like in here. It's very much, it has this childish buoyancy, almost as if the Go-Go's had a washed out sound to them. That's how I kind of would describe the music in here. Very, very much like an album you would throw on if you're having a party and everyone's feeling like they want to have a good time. This is a great record. This was another one where it was a limited edition copy. Only 300 were ever pressed of this album. I don't know if they're still making music today, but you can find it on Spotify, and I'd highly recommend it if you're into that style of music. Really, really cool album. Then I picked up a copy of The Ventures' Walk Don't Run Volume 2, one I've been looking for a while, and The Ventures are getting a little difficult to find at like the early bargain prices that they used to go for. I have been seeing them more in the $8 to $10 range, and I used to see them all the time in dollar bins and for $2, and it's hard for me to split that difference. But this one was for $4, and yes, it does have water damage on the bottom of the sleeve, but the record is in fantastic shape, which is really hard to come by with Ventures albums. And this one I bought primarily for the song The Creeper, which is just a slab of hard proto-punk metal. It is a hard-hitting tune that I love, love, love. Sounds like someone's about to start a rumble or a fight, and I am there for it. Such a great song, and a fantastic, it's a really good album too. It has a couple of sour notes, as most Ventures albums do, but a very solid entry into their discography, and one that I would recommend anyone pick up. And also, look at that cover. You gotta love that. Next, I got a stereo copy of Another Side of Bob Dylan, an original stereo copy, and this one is very much a sleeper in Dylan's discography. It's one that isn't talked as much about, but there are so many great songs on here, and I do have a mono copy. I would like to actually get a mono and a stereo of each one of Dylan's records, and there are so many great songs on here. It Ain't Me, Babe, My Back Pages, To Ramona, Chimes of Freedom, Spanish Harlem Incident, Black Crow Blues. Lots of great stuff to be mined on this. And the fact that Dylan recorded this in 10 hours is truly a testament to the ability that he had at such a young age. So very happy to have this one in stereo in a great shape in my collection. Next, another blind buy by an artist known as Steve Marcus, Count's Rock Band. And this one was one of those where I just looked at the album. I enjoyed the album artwork. It's on the Vortex label, which is very underrated jazz, very underrated jazz label from the mid to late 60s. I picked up a great album by Chick Corea, Tones for Jones Bones, earlier in the year, and the fact that it was also a DJ copy for promotion only really brought me into the whole record. And I looked at the personnel that was on there. Great people. Bob Moses on drums, Chris Hills on bass, and the main thing that brought me there was Larry Coryell on guitar. And Larry Coryell is one of my favorite guitarists of all time, and no, it's in fantastic shape with that white promotional copy label. And I just took a chance on it. I'm very happy I did. It's really early jazz rock, a little bit on the avant-garde side, but a really great album that a lot of people seem to be sleeping on, and I highly recommend it for fans of early jazz rock, especially if you like some of that exploratory Miles Davis work or Joseph Zawinul. So great, or Zwanil, I don't know how to pronounce this last name. So really great record, very happy to have it in the collection. Next, I picked this one up yesterday. This is Lover's Luau by Les Paul and Mary Ford, a completely instrumental record, and in the style of proto-surf and exotica. And Les Paul's glissandos throughout here are just enchanting, mesmerizing, and gorgeous. Mary Ford offers a little bit of wordless vocals in the background on a couple of the tunes, and some people don't really care for exotica. I think that if it's well done, it can be like you're going on a small little vacation, and that is how I feel on this record. It gets very low ratings online, I'm not sure why, but I think that this is a real great album that you can usually pick up. It's an original 6-eye mono Columbia copy from 1959, and very happy to have it in the collection. And an album I've been looking for a while, Fever Tree, self-titled, the Texas band that became famous for singing San Francisco Girls. I really enjoy this album, love side 1, but my favorite tune on here is Man Who Paints the Pictures. That is a hard-hitting, hard-stomping tune, and very happy now to have the Fever Tree's 2 first albums. I think that they're a great group. I know that Dylan at Noble Records has talked a lot about Fever Tree, and it's one that is highly recommended if you're looking to dip your toes into psychedelic music on a budget. Next, very happy to find this record. This is Gongs Expresso 2. Now, this is the second iteration of Gong with Pierre I can't pronounce his name, Morlaer, I think. He was the percussionist for the group, and he took over from David Allen, I believe his name was, and he went into a far more jazz rock influenced experiment. And the album that preceded this one was called Jesus, but it was released in America as Expresso, which I also own. And then Expresso 2 came out, and to me, this is an even better record. There's more of a funk feeling on a lot of these tunes, far more focused on the many different types of percussion instruments that are brought in, and also the guest people on here. Mick Taylor, the guitarist from the Rolling Stones, Alan Holdsworth, Bon Lazaga, fantastic stuff. Great album, and I picked it up for only $1.99. You usually can pick up these later Gong albums for a fraction of the price, and they're really great tunes. If you're looking for, the Canterbury scene sound and the psychedelic playfulness, you're not going to find it, but if you're looking for a really solid jazz rock album, this is definitely one. So very happy to have that. Then another record that we picked up recently was Minnie Riperton's Stay in Love, a romantic fantasy set to music. Now, I was a little disappointed by this album, especially after getting Perfect Angel and being so blown away by that record. This one is more disco set, and it's not that that's bad, but it is definitely not nearly reaching the heights that her previous albums had reached. That said, there are still many great moments to be had here. I only picked this one up for $1 and very happy to have it for $1. I can't really be expecting anything more, so very happy to have it in the collection for that. And it will be a good one that when you want to cut the rug, it's a good record to put on. Next, I found the Beach Boys' Lil Deuce Coupe, finally finishing off, almost rounding off my Beach Boys collection. Just need Carl and the Passions, and then I will have the entirety of the Beach Boys discography from their very first album to 1977. And that, to me, is where the Beach Boys stopped being the Beach Boys. So I love the Beach Boys. This is not one of my favorite albums by them, but just very happy to kind of be rounding off the collection. There are some really good songs in here. Spirit of America, Custom Machine, and Cherry Cherry Coupe is Be True to Your School. Those are great songs. So very happy to have it and to be rounding it off. This one was really cool to find for $1. This is an early pressing, mono pressing of Buffalo Springfield self-titled album. This is the second iteration that came out. The first one did not include the song For What It's Worth. So this is a very quick repressing of Buffalo Springfield's self-titled album, and I'm just really happy to have this one in the collection for $1. I couldn't ask for more, and it does have some damage near the bottom, but it does have the original Echo label, and very happy to have it right here with me. Now we're kind of getting into the heavy hitters. I picked this one up, Ice, the Ice Age, and this is the Noble Records variant. It only came out with 100 copies of this. It sold out, I think, the same day that he announced it, and I was very happy to pick it up. It has a red-blue splatter, and this album is really, if you're a fan of Blue Cheer and that early kind of sludgy hard rock, then you're going to really like the stuff that's found on here. I really love the song Copper Penny and He Rides Among Clouds and Satisfied. It's a great album, and the sound on here, sound quality is excellent, and very, very happy to have this record in the collection, especially since Dylan was like one of the very first channels I ever started watching, and I love being able to support his channel and support his record store. So thanks a lot for sending that my way. Next I have Danko Jones' Garage Rock, collection of lost songs from 96 to 98. And I listened to this album, and man, what a great compilation of Danko Jones' early cuts. I see that this one also gets kind of low rating online, but I don't know what people are talking about. This is just hard-hitting, in-your-face, punky garage rock, and I love that. This is a European pressing, and again, Aaron, fantastic choice. You know what my style is, so great album. Next one was Johnny Lang's Signs, and man, this album is so much better than I even remember. Great neo blues album with gospel undertones, and the only song on here that sticks out like a sore thumb is Stronger Together. That is obvious. That was trying to be the pop crossover, but you know, it's kind of like the Yellow Submarine of this song. I know some people love Yellow Submarine, but I can't stand it. But like, great songs on here. Into the Light, Make It Move, Snakes, Signs, Wisdom. there's so many great songs on here, and the lyricism really shows that he's coming to his own. So thanks again for sending this my way. And then he sent me Funkadelic's Maggot Brain. This is a 1990 UK pressing. Excellent, 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 and definitely one that I've been looking for a super long time, and I didn't really want to get the Men with Four Beards reissue. So thank you so much for sending this my way. I really appreciate it, man. Great, great record, and a great, great person. Then I picked up John Pryne's Diamonds in the Ruff. John Pryne is becoming so hard to find, and this is an album that I really, really wanted to have. The title track here is one that really resonates with me on a personal level, and I love this album. Just as good as his first record, in my opinion, and it has the original lyrics insert as well. I bought this one for $10, and so happy to have it in the collection. And John Pryne wasn't a treasure, songwriting great, and he is greatly missed. So excellent. Then I found 2 copies of this album, Bob Dylan's Oh Mercy, an incredible record, late period Dylan album, produced by Daniel Lanois, who produced U2's Joshua Tree. This one is a very singular sounding Dylan album, and it basically saved Dylan in the 80s from becoming completely irrelevant. And there's so many great songs on here. Political World is one that I come back to time and time again, and The Man in the Black Coat is another fantastic song, kind of in the vein of Lily Jack Rosemary. I can never get that song title right, but you know which one I'm talking about. And this is a really cool album. I found this one for $15 at Exclusive Company, and then the next day I found the copy for $10. I'm going to be sending this copy to a friend of mine, and I'm just so happy to have this one also in my collection. So great, great find. Then finally we have Eric Burton's And the Animals, The Twain Shall Meet. I know that I shared this one earlier in a different video, but this is a UK pressing and one that is very difficult to come across. I believe that the medium price usually is at $50-some for it, and this is a great copy in great shape and a wonderful psychedelic artifact. Love this album, very much in the vein of their Satanic Majesty's Request, and highly recommended for anyone who likes that kind of really out there psychedelic sound. So cool album. Well guys, those were the vinyl finds for the second part of September. Are there any albums there that you would want in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you guys have a great day on your own personal oasis. Cheers.